Hello and welcome to another Dog-Eared Discourse Top Shelf recommendation episode. My name's Chris. I will be recommending The Magician's Guild by Trudi Canavan. This is the first book in the Black Magician trilogy. I really like this book. I thought it was really fun. This book covers the city of Imradin, and this city is kind of evil. Which is kind of nice.
Kind of evil.
Kind of, just
do tell.
Slightly evil. They've got evil tendencies. And so the main character, Sonea, is like this lower class citizen, right? She just worked her way out of the slums into like a house, but for like low income housing. Now this is medieval times with magic users and all this stuff. And this city does a purge every year, and not like the purge like the movie where they go through and kill everybody. No, it's not quite like that. This kind of purge is what they did was they decided, you know what, we don't like homeless people and beggars. You know what we should do? We should get rid of all the homeless people and beggars. And so what they do is they have the magicians throw up this invisible wall in every street starting at the Magician's Guild and just push all the people who are on the street out and literally like purge them out of the city, and they just shove them out of the front gates and they leave the gates locked for one day and they're like, see ya, bye.
What the heck?
Yeah.
Wait, so
and then whoever doesn't get eaten by wolves gets to come back in.
they have the ability and put the effort into creating these like walls or everything, but they could have also been like, you know what? Maybe we should use all of that like energy and effort into just maybe we should like house them for a bit and give them some clothing and see what they're good at and maybe give them a job.
Or statues. Make the city beautiful.
Or we turn this entire city into one of those games where you put a quarter in, the little tractor tries to push them out until like see how many quarters you can get down.
So the purge, but with coins. I like it. Okay, so
I was gonna say that game, but with vagrants and whatever.
With vagrants, okay.
Either
one. So these magicians form this invisible barrier. They push all of the low lives out of the city. Right. It was started by this one king, and he died 5 years ago, and his son kept up the tradition. So everyone was hoping, we hope this goes away. But now they've moved on from just beggars and criminals that don't really have anywhere to be, but now they're actually going into people's houses, like the low-income houses, and shoving people out on the street because they don't want them in the city anymore. So they shove them out on the street, they get purged, someone else takes over their house. So mildly evil.
Sorry, you don't make enough money for us.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Bye.
So Sonea gets involved in the purge, and she gets shoved out. It's like she had just worked her way into a better position. She was running with a gang. Now she's getting kicked out of the city, and she is mad because like as she's sitting there at the barrier, the magicians are looking bored. The guards are just whatever. You can't do anything anyway. Like kids have started throwing rocks at the barrier, and it's an invisible barrier, so the rocks will go and just poof into dust. She's just like, okay, yeah, this is a small act of defiance. And the wizards or magicians are looking like irritated and stuff. And one of them sneers at her and says something like, oh, it's going to be so nice when you're gone, or something like that. So she picks up a rock and she's just like, I really want to fuck this guy's day. And it's like thinking about it. And she hucks the rock and just like wills it to smack this dude. And she feels something turn inside of her and it just clunks him right in the temple and he goes down.
Wow.
And she's like, oh shit, gotta run. Yeah. So she takes off and they start immediately lobbing fireballs at her.
Wow.
Right? Magic in this city is strictly locked down by the guild. Like only magicians can make other magicians. It's one of those things where it's like a hereditary thing, like only magicians can be other magicians or something like that.
So she's like a kind of out of wedlock magician.
Yeah, it could be, or it could be that other people, can actually cast spells and they're just not trained.
Yeah.
But it doesn't really matter because people are now dying around her. It talks about how she like turns and she sees this person just dead, like blown into fire. And she's just like, I got to get out of here. So she bounces and runs away. And then because she's been running with thieves before, the thieves are like, yeah, we'll protect you. We'll hide you And then the magicians can't find you, and they're thinking in the back of their head, and we get a magician. And so it's who's using who, and a little bit of the politics there, and some of the problems that start happening with her because she's an untrained wizard, and that might not be so good. So I like this fish out of water. She's familiar with the city, but stuff's hitting the fan. And I really liked how they kind of took on some of the bigger issues. Like some people's idea of homelessness is, well, if we just move them out of our city, it's fine. Right? Well, no, that doesn't solve the issue.
Yeah.
They clearly states that. It's like, it's not even trying to be subtle about it. It's just like, I feel like the author might have heard somebody say that. And like, I'm just going to write this into a book. You stupid people. Like, this is what you're going to get. People with,
Yeah. Don't mess with the fastest fastball in Imradin.
yeah. Yeah. It was pretty
Sign
cool.
her up for the major leagues.
Yeah. So yeah, that was pretty funny when he just like collapsed, and then everybody's like, wait a minute, that's not great. And then it's her like finding out more about the guild, finding out about like the leader of the city and all this stuff. So it's pretty fun. And she discovers some dark secrets in the guild and things like that. So I would recommend reading it. It's got a lot of fun tropes to it. If you're looking for a book that really is a good high fantasy where you've got new magic systems, it really does kind of touch on some of the more nuanced aspects of our society, I would try The Magician's Guild by Trudi Canavan. I'm keeping this book on my shelf, and if you read it, please let us know on our Instagram at Dog Eared Discourse.
Sounds fun.
Yeah.
Thanks, Chris.